It has been an exciting experience watching all of the seeds turn into bright, beautiful plants. Full of life, full of light, and so much color. It's always hard to imagine after coming out of fall and winter, when everything is dying, leaves falling, that it will all one day again look like this. In the fall, that is when the seeds start falling, burying themselves deep underground into the darkness where there is no light. That is when the seed is planted. And then when the sun begins to show more light, the seed begins to transform, reaching its way toward that light, to then become a living, breathing thing. It is through the darkness where we begin to transform as well, through the shadow parts of ourselves, the parts that we tend to ignore or pretend like they aren't there. This mirrors in the rest of the world too, the dark parts of the world that we don't like, the parts we wish would change, the parts that hurt the most, or the parts we fear. But it is through these experiences that we begin to transform, to create change and movement, where we can begin to rise, creating new energy and a new way of being. We took a trip to a local Amish farm to look at some of their goats. I had been thinking about adding a couple goats to our homestead for quite some time now, so I wanted to begin to check them out.
I could be the one to make you love. I have in the past, now that's a start. I could be the one to make you smile. I have and I keep each one on fire.
A tree fell near the greenhouse during a big storm, so we grabbed our chainsaw and began to clear it out. We knew we'd use some of it as firewood, but I got the idea to use some of its bendable branches to weave an archway. While we were clearing out the fallen tree and brush, a swarm of sweat bees started to attack. Sweat bees nest underground or in old fallen tree logs. We must have disturbed a nest because they started to sting us, creating multiple welts on my upper shoulders and back that itched like crazy for days. We also didn't realize that much of that brush was sitting in poison ivy, so my husband and I both got rashes that spread across our arms, also itching like crazy. It's times like these that I turn to plants for relief. I used a witch hazel astringent to reduce the redness, swelling, and itchiness. I also applied a jewelweed salve. Jewelweed is a plant that oftentimes grows right near poison ivy. The plant counteracts the euceral oil in poison ivy, which is what causes the itchy rash. Jewelweed keeps the rash from spreading and also reduces the swelling, redness, and itchiness. I find it fascinating that nature seems to intelligently provide the remedy or solution right next to the plant that caused the ailment to begin with. As you begin to learn about plants and their uses, you begin to see the patterns. This is one of the reasons I love working with plants as medicine. That's why I thoughtfully choose specific plants for my herbal tea blends. Each plant has a purpose and provides a medicinal remedy for a particular imbalance in the body or mind. One of my most popular teas, Beam Me Up, is a medicinal tea blend specifically for men to increase libido, balance their hormones, such as testosterone, and help with erectile dysfunction. My new Cloud 9 tea has plants in it that gives you more energy naturally, relieves depression, and helps you focus better. It's great for people with ADHD or those that have issues with depression. You can check out all of my teas on my website at thenakedgardener.us. As we head into summer, I'm getting outside earlier in the morning to tend to the garden. The temperatures are cooler then. The sun is not as intense and the birds are more active, so it's more peaceful getting to hear them sing. The insects are starting to emerge, so I'm doing everything I can to stay on top of it this year, using my homemade organic solutions to deter pests, even going as far as to hand pick them off. I'm trying to incorporate more organic matter into my garden this year to improve my soil. Not only am I using compost and my homemade microbial solution that I used last year, but I'm also making comfrey teas. I hope that in the years to come, this will help improve the quality of my soil, making it nutrient-dense and full of life. It feels so good to feel the sun. It seems like it was just yesterday that there were no leaves on the trees, and we were seeing snow and ice. It's amazing how fast the earth can transform when the sun shines more, giving us more light. The soil warms, the temperatures rise, creating just the right conditions for life to emerge, for life to be renewed. May that be mirrored in our own personal lives and in the world as we climb out of the darkness into more light. May we too rise and be renewed.